Oh, hello. Don't mind me, just catching up on some of my reading. This is, of course, Dr. Jimmy, and it's still the 4th of July, and it's, I decided, yes, I would do at least one more video before this was done, and I have to get it in quickly because, of course, when it gets dark outside, there'll be lovely fireworks, and, of course, later tonight, a wonderful football match between our own Orlando City Soccer Club and the degenerate Dallas FC over in Texas. And they will be able to win, I hope, and take them out and improve Orlando's standings in the MLS. Make the playoffs this year, yeah! Go Lions! That's later. Won't be able to see it in person, of course, because obviously I'm not in frickin' Texas, thank God, but I can watch it on telly. It's on channel 27. Anyway, excuse me. Now then, through hacking up bits of lung. So this is the 9th video in my history of Halloween Horror Nights 23, and I wanted to go on because I did want to start him on the next house, Evil Dead, which was located in Soundstage 24, the first house ever in Soundstage 24. The first house to ever be there was Evil Dead. Now, of course, as I have already said earlier in other videos, originally Evil Dead was not planned for Halloween Horror Nights in Florida. They were going to do American Horror Story, probably based on the first 2 seasons, Murder House and Asylum, because that was the only seasons that had aired at that point. The Coven started in the autumn of 2013, but it's unlikely they would have gotten much information out of Murphy and Falchuk about that. They're a bit protective of their work. That's probably why they didn't get the house. So there all sorts of rumours, you know, they didn't want it to be in the shadow of Walking Dead. When they heard about the Walking Dead thing, that might have killed it. Other was that AMC didn't want to share the spotlight with another TV program. That's another rumour. There's also that, that Falchuk and Murphy are just hard to work with. I don't know if that's true. Same people work with them over and over and over again all the time, you know, coming back in different TV programs, different projects. It would seem to me that wouldn't happen if they're so difficult. I don't know what the real story is. You can never tell with these things because these sorts of things aren't really spoken of openly. That's not the best practice in the industry. You never know who you have to work with next time, right? So you never say, oh, that studio sucks, or I don't like that director, because you may have to work with them next time, and you don't ever want to turn down work in show business. That's not the way it is, not at all. No, you need that. So, and yeah, Horror Nights, Universal, it's still part of Universal Studios after all. It's show business is the soul of it all. So you have to realize that philosophy exists even there. So they're not going to talk out of turn. You know, there are all sorts of rumors and speculations and theories and different things people have heard, or you know, probably gone through 2 or 3 different levels before they got to you. You know, and sometimes after it's second, third, fourth hand, things can be changed up a bit, and the real truth may be something very different from what we all think we know. So whatever it was, American Horror Story did not happen at Halloween Horror Nights 23. Now, it happens at Halloween Horror Nights 26. That's a rumour. That's another rumour. We'll see if that's true. We'll see if that's true. And what? What would it be then? That's 74 days. Possibly earlier than that. Possibly later this month we might hear something. Who knows? But anyway, Evil Dead. Yes. Nocturon de Monto, as it's called sometimes, or Necronomicon Ex Mortis. Take your pick, whichever movie it was. So Evil Dead replaced it like that. And I wonder, again, I have no idea, this is just an idea, is it possible that American Horror Story was planned for Orlando but was never planned for Hollywood, and that Evil Dead was planned for Hollywood, and so they already had the rights there, and so they could easily do it at Orlando once they were no longer doing Horror Story. That might be a way that happened, but like bang, they got it, and they started working on it right away. And it was leaked to us prematurely. I'm not talking about those of us who are getting inside info or not. I'm talking about the whole general public at least a week or two before it was supposed to be announced, because you know, you can buy Blu-rays and stuff in advance. You know, they have pre-sales, before they're actually released on things like Amazon, right? And they're supposed to send it to you so that, you know, the postman gets it to you right on the day it's to be released. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you get it a week or two in advance. Oh, I got it early. And when that happened, they opened the Blu-ray box and, oh, there's an insert. What's this say? Special contest, trip to Universal Studios to see the haunted house based on the Evil Dead at both Universal Studios Florida and Universal Studios Hollywood. Ha! It got leaked from that insert that, yes, indeed, this was happening on both coasts. And so we knew that was happening before we were supposed to know, officially, because of that insert. And that happened. And of course, then a couple of weeks later in August, or whenever it was, July, we found out for sure Evil Dead was there. I went ahead and so I should watch this movie. I hadn't seen it in cinema because it wasn't based on the original Evil Dead with Bruce Campbell, the Sam Raimi films, you know, from the 80s. This was based on a reboot or remake, or some people say a prequel, but maybe it's actually a sequel. I don't know. Whatever it was, the new Evil Dead that came out in 2013, earlier that year. It had just been in the cinemas earlier that year, and now it was already out on a Blu-ray in the summer, and would be a haunted house in the fall. Well, that sounds fun. I hadn't seen it yet, so I thought I should see it. So I got a copy of it to watch it, and I'm watching the movie, and I realize it doesn't have the joyful glee of the original Evil Dead, and that's okay. It's a more serious, somber thing. It's, you know, a bit more bloody. They're going out with the gore. That's cool. I like that. And there's a nifty little twist they put into the whole idea, so that it can get away with something, you know, kind of bending, breaking the rules that were set out in the original a little bit. And that was clever, I suppose. But, and of course, a cross-stick of the names of the 5 kids who go out in the woods in the cabin. You know, I think named David and Eric. I might get that wrong, but I think it's something David, Eric, Mia, Olivia, Naomi, or something like that. Basically, D-E-M-O-N. Ooh, subtle. But I watched the movie and I'm like a bit frustrated. Maybe that's not the right word. Annoyed, aggravated, irritated, and I'm not. It's not the movie or the plot or the storyline or any of that. What's getting under my skin? What's grinding my gears? What's doing all that is the characters. There's 5 kids. You know, it's a bit like, you know, it's funny because this is just the sort of movie they're sending up in Cabin in the Woods, and having both of them at the same time, it's like bookends, right? You got 2 houses with cabins in woods as the sort of facade when you go in. It's like, wasn't I just in that house? but you got that. You got a Cabin in the Woods scenario, and you have just the thing that Cabin in the Woods is making fun of. You know, the 5 kids in the cabin, and they do something stupid and summon the forces that will kill them. And of course, it's not a zombie redneck torture family in this case. Sorry, it's Kandarian demons, but still, what the hell is Kandar? Anyway, isn't that like from Flash Gordon or something? Zontar. But they're just so blindingly frickin' stupid. Oh, at least the kids in Cabin in the Woods had the excuse that they were being manipulated by an evil conspiracy involving subliminal messages and chemicals that were altering their mind and causing them to make the poor judgments they were making, you know, following like sheep to the slaughter, being led there step by step. Now, the 5 kids in this movie, the 5 kids in Evil Dead, they're just stupid! Oh my God! I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but it's like if you're out in the woods and a great big bear comes out of the bushes and eats you, and you didn't know there were bears in the woods. I mean, everyone knows there might be a bear in the woods, but there was no warning, no sign or anything. It's not really your fault. I mean, how would you know a bear was going to get you? But if there had been many reports on all the news media that there is an evil killer bear in the woods, and people have been telling you about it all day, and you go out in the woods anyway, and you see like blood everywhere and mangled bits and pieces of people who've been mauled recently, and then there's a big sign saying, warning, killer bear 30 feet ahead. Go back. And you keep going, and there's another sign that says, warning, killer bear 15 feet ahead. Please go no further. And then you keep going a little bit further, and the sign says, warning, killer bear 5 feet ahead. Turn around and run, you stupid motherfucker. And you keep going, and there's a tree with a little picture on it saying, bear behind tree. Get out now, you asshole. Run, 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 run. And then you go around behind the tree, and there's the bear, and he says, hello. Whose fault is that? Not the bear's. It's you, you stupid. That's right. I mean, that's how stupid the kids in this movie are. Oh my fucking God. So I'm going to rant. That's why I want to make this video, because I remembered all this, and I have to rant about the dumbasses in The Evil Dead. I may never get to the house in this video. It might be in part 10. But the kids are stupid. I mean, think about it. Let's just think about it. You're going out with your friends to a cabin in the woods for a camping trip, and you're going to rehab one of you who's a druggie because she's, you know, it's like an intervention, right? So you're going to do that, and you go out there with your friends and your puppy dog. One of them has a puppy dog, and you go there to the cabin, and you go up, and it's a creepy, scary old cabin in the middle of the woods. That's enough to make you go, But let's say you don't know you're in a horror movie because it's not a Scream movie. You know, you don't know it's a horror movie, and so you're excused here to actually go in the cabin. But when you get there, you find evidence that somebody has recently broken into the cabin. And for all you know, they're still in there, okay? Now, I'm sorry, if you don't immediately go around, go back home, call the police, but instead go in, and if you go in, and then your dog starts sniffing at a rug in the middle of the room, acting really weird, and you think, well, that's funny, how peculiar. And you pull the rug back, and you find a trap door in the floor, and there's blood and evidence that something's been dragged along with blood everywhere, and you see all the blood stains. And you don't say, in a cabin that somebody's recently broken into, and you don't know if they might not still be in there, fuck! You should be turning around, running out of the cabin right away, getting in your car, driving back home as fast as you can, maybe calling the police, right? But no, you open the trapdoor. When you open the trapdoor, a stench comes out of the cellar, reeking of decomposing, rotting flesh. Okay? So you've got the stench of rotting flesh coming up from this dark, creepy cellar where there's been blood stains and murder or something's happened and there's been broken into cabin. And you don't get the fuck out as fast as you can and drive home and call the police, but instead you decide to go down into that dark, scary cellar. And when you go down into the dark, scary cellar, you find it's full of cats, dead cats that someone has tortured to death and hung up on hooks. Right? And when you see that some depraved lunatic has been torturing animals down in this cellar that reeks of rotting flesh, where there's been blood stains in a cabin somebody recently broke into and you don't know if they might not even still be around, and instead of getting up the stairs, out the cabin, back in your car, drive home as fast as you can, call the police, if instead you decide to explore the cellar even more, and you go and find another door, and you open that one and find another creepy room, and you go in, and you find evidence in the room that someone's been tortured and burnt at the stake, and blood and ashes and all of that. and if you don't immediately get out of there, go back through the other room, up the stairs, out the cabin door, back in your car, drive back home as fast as you can, calling the police. But instead, continue to explore that room where you find someone's left an object in the room, and they've gone to such lengths to prevent anyone from touching it that they've wrapped it up with all kinds of black tarps and then covered the tarps with all kinds of barbed wire, of all things. You know, like, don't touch this thing, it's bad. And then you take that fucking, and if you don't drop that immediately, get the hell out, go upstairs, get in your car, drive back home, call the police, you pick the thing up and take it up out of the cellar so you can examine it more thoroughly, and even more, get some wire cutters to cut through the barbed wire and tear the tarp and plastic off, and find a book bound in human flesh. And when you find the book bound in human flesh that had been in a cellar, inner sanctum of a cellar, where someone had clearly been tortured and burnt at the stake or something, with an outer room where people had been torturing and killing animals, all reeking of rotting flesh, after you went down a trapdoor that was smeared with blood, like someone had been killed or something, in a cabin someone had recently broken into, and possibly might still be around, out in the middle of the woods. When you find this unholy motherfucker, if you don't immediately go, ah, and drop it and run like hell and get the fuck out and go back up the stairs, oh, actually you're already up the stairs, go out the door, get in your car, drive back home as fast as you can, call the police, and maybe at this point you might want to consider calling a young priest and an old priest as well. But if no, when you find this unholy tome of evil wrapped in human flesh, mind you, and then you decide to open the fucking thing up and start looking through the pages, in addition to all kinds of horrible fucking shit like this, you know, with it looks like, what is that, a vagina? Oh my god. When you find that, and god, and it's written in blood or something, and someone has gone to the lengths of writing in the margins, in their own blood, mind you, saying, do not read, do not say these words, do not read them, and do not even think them. You know, someone's warning you. Put the book down, don't read this, get the fuck out. They actually wrote it down in the margins in their own blood to warn you away from this book. All right? When you see that warning, at that point, you don't say, fuck this shit, drop the unholy book on the floor, get the hell out of the cabin, get in your car with your dog, who's probably run out through the woods madly barking like crazy, going, with the tail between his legs already by this point anyway, because dogs know evil when they see it, and get in the car, drive home as fast as you can, call the police and the Vatican, and ask them to bring a legion of cardinals armed with holy water and crucifixes and flamethrowers to deal with the evil fucking shit that you fucked with in that cabin in the woods. But no. After all of that, and your response to seeing these messages written in someone's blood telling you, for God's sakes, don't read any of this shit, is to find the incantation and then start reading it out loud, mind you. Then you're a dumb fuck of the worst order. You're beyond stupid. It's a wonder that you'd even be able to have bodily functions at work. How are you able to use the toilet facilities, or dial a telephone, or even walk across the room without getting lost, just going from one side to the other? I mean, how stupid do you have to be at this point? You know, it's like what I said about the bear. It's exactly the same. I'm sorry. When I realized the magnitude of the complete and total dumbassery of these kids in this movie, when that happened, when they read the damn incantation, at that point I said, fuck it. I'm rooting for the demons. And made the rest of the film so much more enjoyable as I watched the kids get slaughtered. Because, yay, that's it, get the next one. He's too stupid to live. Come on, get him, demon, get him, get him, get him, get him. That's the way it goes. Had a similar experience with Paranormal Activity, because Micah was a dipshit too. Ended up rooting for the demon in that one. It makes it have a happy ending that way. Alright, so I spent so much time yelling about the stupid kids in the movie that I didn't have time to get to the haunted house. I probably won't do that tonight, but I had a need to rant, and I knew I could do that about the dumbass kids in this movie. So, go demons. Yeah. Sometime later, I don't know when exactly, I'll do part 10 when I actually talk about what was in the house. And frankly, I like the house a hell of a lot better than I like the movie. I didn't dislike the movie, but again, stupidness kind of pisses me off. Granted, the same stupid kids were in the house, but hey, the house was still more fun. And with one small exception. In the movie, you only hear them talking about the stench of rotting flesh. In the house, you smelled it. Oh my God, that was a stanky house. Stanky, 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 stanky. I don't mean it was a bad house. I mean, when I say the house stank, I don't mean, oh, this house is terrible, it stinks. I mean, it really stinks. Oh my God. People lost it in that house. People threw up in that house because of the stink. And of course, the vomit made it worse. OMG. I don't think there's ever, not even the toilet. The toilet in Psychotherapy wasn't as bad. This was the stinkiest house on record. Okay. Whew. Oh, that's your evil and your Evil Dead right there. So part 10, I'll go into detail about the house.